Is it a disco ball on your desk? Or are you just happy to see me? Welcome back into the shop, folks. Today we're going to take this flaked helmet and see if we can't come up with something kind of retro, something kind of vibey. I got the idea looking at the old Atari logo as I was just kind of pulling some tape around on the button studs. Kind of gave me this idea for this red and yellow and brown type thing. You can see the Atari symbol going down there. We're going to add some spacing tape, kind of play with some lines on this thing. Kind of getting to work on the back. And some of this tape doesn't get used for anything other than either A, spacing, or B, someplace to put larger pieces of tape when I'm coming through and masking off sections. But we have to, as always, be very careful that what we lay is in the order that we want to paint it, or we end up having to tape over fresh paint, which can sometimes be quite problematic. So here I am just kind of getting the primary pattern masked in, and then laying the first of my background patterns. All of these time lapses come from live sessions that I do. I go live every Tuesday. Hit that subscribe button if you guys would be interested. I try to schedule at least a day or two ahead of time. And of course, if you're enjoying this video, go ahead and hit that like button for me. I really appreciate that. So here I am working on the side cells. This helmet took me almost 6 hours. The design changed quite a few times. At this point, I was kind of struggling to find something cohesive until I got this shape right here nailed down. And then that kind of set off the rest of the pattern in my mind. I kind of saw where I wanted to go. So using some of that 1/4 inch to keep my gaps even, make sure that I get both sides as symmetrical as possible. I'm taping off the secondary pattern. And now we're playing with a little bit of chaos noodles, I guess you could call them. I'm just alternating between 1mm tape and 2mm tape for each of the passes. That might be 1 and 1.5. But I do 4 layers. I'll come back and spray those with white paint. Makes a pretty cool looking effect. But y'all have to wait for that just a minute. So here I am putting a sunburst in. If you saw the black and white skate deck that I did, I used the same effect, but I used a wider pattern. This is a little denser, so instead of looking like sun rays, it kind of looks more like mushrooms, which is kind of cool. Now you can see I'm pulling off some of that design work from earlier that I didn't like. Now just using a little bit of lace in a 3-color fade, red, orange to yellow, just to get a little breakup in each of those cells. You'll see in the final reveal that there's really not much there. This is root beer brown for the shadows. Now we're cutting off the top section to deal with the spaghetti. Mask up those front edges for the white overspray. And you're just tracing each of the piece of the tapes and then pulling them off as you go. So you're getting automatic over-unders. Nice coat of gold candy. And ready to move on after we get the shadows in. Alright, so now we're going to start the sunburst. There you can already kind of see what I meant about looking like the underside of a mushroom. And here we go with the same burst pattern that we used on the lace earlier, red to orange to yellow. Now we've got a little bit of the transparent black mixed into the shadow to sink it back further. We're going to do a little bit more lace here, a little bit heavier on the pattern this time, since it's just a small detail at the base of the neck. And that's red with transparent black for the shadow layer. And then we're just going to paint the neck ridge completely black. Get the secondary layers pattern unmasked. And get the shadows dropped into place for it before we move on. And again, this is that new mix with the root beer brown with a little bit of the transparent black in it. Now we can unmask the primary. Last couple of bits of tape corrected where it looks like we're going to have leakers, and we'll get to spraying. This is going to be straight root beer brown. And then once we get the brown in place, we're going to come back on the outside edges with the copper. And that about brings us to the end of this one. Get some clear coat on here in just a second. There it is. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I'll catch you next week. Thanks for watching.